I stand before you today as a candidate for the Democratic nomination for the presidency of the United States of America.
Shirley Chisholm did that in 1972, and she was a catalyst for change. But she was also way out there ahead of her time.
I am not the candidate of Black America, although I am Black and proud.
For Chisholm, there was no set trail in politics.
I am not the candidate of the women's movement of this country, although I am a woman, and I'm equally proud of that.
To be Black, to be a woman, to be both, meant that she had to just make her own path.
There had never been anybody but white males in the White House, and Shirley Chisholm made it possible to see and to imagine.
I stand, as so many of us do, on her shoulders, because she understood that you just march to that podium and you claim that podium as yours, and you don't ask anybody permission.
This was her slogan, unbought and unbossed, throughout her entire elected life. She was the first African-American woman elected to Congress, and she knew that bringing her perspective and her experience to the table would strengthen the country.
In 1968, Shirley Chisholm, a former school teacher, daycare director, and Democratic state legislator, ran for Congress, hoping to become the first Black politician to represent her predominantly poor and Black Brooklyn neighborhood, Bedford-Stuyvesant.
My name is Shirley Chisholm. On November 5th, send me to the United States Congress.
She watched what people went through in their daily lives, what it was actually like to be doing domestic work, doing factory work. She wanted to have government respond to the day-to-day concerns of the people she saw on the streets of Brooklyn.
Hello there, please vote for me now.
Her opponent, James Farmer, was famous as the leader of the Congress of Racial Equality.
Hope you're going to vote for me November 5th.
He ran saying that we need to have a strong male voice in Washington.
James Farmer said to me, Shirley, the Congress is not for you. We need strong people. You're a little school teacher. And I said, wait a minute. There are more women voters in my district. And boy, the women, white, Black, Puerto Rican, all the women moved behind me.
She went out and courted those women to get them out to the ballot box, and she won.
I gather then that you don't plan to be quiet in Congress.
Absolutely not. For 44 years of my life, I have been forced to remain silent because of my skin color. I am going to be a freshman that's seen and heard.
How do you feel being the first Black woman, in the House of Representatives?
I have mixed feelings as far as I'm concerned. Actually, it's overdue.
Chisholm called her first months on Capitol Hill some of the most difficult of her life. She often felt unwelcome, even among members of her own party, which still included powerful segregationists from the South. Some even refused to sit with her at lunch.
Sat at the Georgian delegation table, and I did not know this. He said, well, here in this body, we all have our special tables. I said, look, there are 3 empty tables right here. They belong to other delegations. I'm eating my lunch. I'm enjoying it. After today, I will not sit at this table now that I know it belongs to Georgia. But if you cannot sit now and have your lunch with me at this table, I would suggest you take one of the empty tables, and if indeed anybody from another delegation asks you to rise from those tables, I will be the first to support you and help you. You understand?
Chisholm was on the vanguard of major political realignment in American politics. As one of only 13 Black representatives, she co-founded the Congressional Black Caucus.
We're motivated out of a deeper concern about what is happening to over 25 million Black people in this country.
She was also part of the growing women's movement, supporting the Equal Rights Amendment, reproductive freedom, and larger roles for women in the workplace and in politics.
These are leaders of the National Women's Political Caucus. We had the radical idea that women were half the population and we could be half the political representation. This is me, this is Bella Abzug, this is Shirley.
I happen to believe that women need to assume a much more important role. Women are a little bit more sensitized to the problems that concern families, education, social welfare measures.
Chisholm wanted government to serve people's essential needs.
You know, I do what my conscience tells me to do.
And was effective at building support in Congress for programs that benefited her constituents.
Shirley was always representing what she experienced in her own life. For instance, she clearly understood the importance of childcare, access of women to elected positions. Her vision of what could be was in advance of the people around her.
Those of you who have been neglected, left out, ignored, forgotten, or shunned aside, join me as we go down the Chisholm Trail for 1970.
A new hat, rather a bonnet, was tossed into the Democratic presidential race today, that of Mrs. Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman to serve in Congress.
I felt that the time had come when a black person or a female person could and should be president of these United States of America, not only white males. And I decided somebody had to get it started. I'm a shaker of the system.
The Democratic Party must place primary stress on quality of life, the community.
I even just want black boys and black girls to just remember that anybody can run for president.
She really wanted everybody to understand that they could find a home in her campaign and to bring new people to the table in politics.
There must be a new coalition of Americans, black, brown, white, red, and yellow, rich and poor.
I met Shirley Chisholm when I invited her to come to my college campus in Oakland, California, Mills College. It was amazing. She talked about poverty, spoke fluent Spanish. She was a pro-abortion rights candidate and woman. And she said, "Are you registered to vote?" I said, "No." She said, "You have got to register to vote. And you need to help me in my campaign." I said, "Okay."
This is the group of us who ran as delegates pledged to support Shirley Chisholm. And here are all of our names.
Throughout the primaries, Chisholm struggled for media coverage.
Unfortunately, Shirley Chisholm has not got the depth and breadth of the coverage she deserves.
She was not invited to participate in televised debates and ultimately brought and won a lawsuit challenging her exclusion.
Well, the only thing that I've always asked for is equitability, of treatment.
Her campaign manager had succeeded in getting her compensatory time on some New York television station. And so he asked me to write her speech. It's still the proudest political moment in my life to hear her saying words that I had written. Amazing.
While Chisholm knew she would not get the nomination, she wanted to win enough delegates to have bargaining power at the convention, to push for issues she cared about to be included in the Democratic Party platform.
I went to Miami as a Shirley Chisholm delegate. It was my first convention. I get chills just thinking about it. Oh, God.
I present to you in nomination the Honorable Shirley Chisholm.
To be on the floor and to see how people responded to her, it was just amazing.
Madam Chairman,
Mississippi proudly cast 12 votes for Shirley Chisholm.
New Jersey, 4 for Congresswoman Chisholm.
Pennsylvania votes 9 1/2 for Chisholm.
She was nominated and she got up to 151 votes on the floor of the convention hall. That was the most for any woman until 2008.
In unity, there is strength. I also want to make it quite clear that it was the delegates here that made history tonight. The delegates that made history tonight.
Ultimately, Chisholm returned to Congress, where she served until 1983. She was elected secretary of the House Democratic Caucus and helped expand food programs for the poor that still exist today.
She was never taken as seriously as a candidate as she should have been. I don't know what made it possible for her to survive and lead and speak. It's a miracle, but she did.
We are the birthplace of Shirley Chisholm. And to cast 298 votes to make Kamala Harris the first female president of the United States.
The Democratic coalition has changed and now is strikingly similar to the coalition that was behind Shirley Chisholm.
I accept your nomination to be president of the United States of America.
Although she did not win, 50 years after Shirley Chisholm's run, Vice President Kamala Harris was the first woman of color to gain a major party presidential nomination.
Kamala Harris was a young girl who saw Shirley Chisholm run for president and said, oh yeah, black women run for president.
Don't ever give up, and don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before.
I want history to remember me, not that I was the first black woman to be elected to the Congress, not as the first black woman to have made a bid for the presidency of the United States, but as a black woman who lived in the 20th century and who dared to be herself. I want to be remembered as a catalyst for change in America.